sis, welcome back. And if you're new here, I'm Monique, and this channel is for Christian women over 40 who are feeling that pull to leave corporate and build something more meaningful, but you're scared. You're scared out of your mind about money, duh, and also the logistics of all of it. So I've already dropped a few videos, and this channel has been rebranding, so you'll probably see even older videos. But the last few videos that I dropped, we talked about whether 52 is too late to start coaching, why your corporate job might be hiding your actual calling, and then also the signs that God is calling you out of corporate. And the last video was why bloom where you're planted needs to die. But then I realized, girl, you haven't told your story yet. And so I haven't even told you why I'm even here, why I left corporate after 20 plus years, and why I do what I'm doing now since I'm back on YouTube and I'm back to podcasting. And shout out to the Launch Your Coaching Ministry podcast listeners. I thought it was time to pull back the curtain a bit and, let you see the real reason why I'm sitting here talking to you today. So listen, grab your coffee, your iced coffee, get comfy, and let me tell you what broke, what shifted, and why I finally said, enough, child, and just left corporate behind. So here's the thing that nobody tells you about corporate when you're a woman over 40, especially a Black woman over 40. And that is that the older you get, the more invisible you become. I spent 20 plus years in corporate, 20 plus years, as most of you did. I started in sales and then I worked my way up to a district sales manager. Then I returned to college to complete my degree in human resources management. And then I began my career in human resources. And for 2 decades, I trained leaders. I trained leaders in sales, and I also trained leaders when I was in human resources. I developed people. I knew how to spot talent, grow teams, and get results. I was good, actually great at what I did. But somewhere around my late 40s or so, I started noticing something. I'd be in meetings with ideas that would be dismissed until a younger person said the exact same thing I said 5 minutes earlier, and suddenly it was genius. I watch promotions go to people with half my experience and twice the political game playing skills, if you know what I mean. And honey, I refuse to play those games. I wasn't about to become someone I wasn't just to be seen in corporate. But that meant I got overlooked, I got ignored, I got passed over. Now, I was making good money, and don't get me wrong, I mean, the money was great, but I knew I wasn't being paid my worth. Right? It was good money, but I could have been paid more. And I knew there was a ceiling that had nothing to do with my competence and everything to do with, well, And I kept thinking, is this it? Is this what the next 10, 15 years look like for me? Shrinking myself, being grateful for scraps, waiting for someone else to decide my value? And that realization broke something in me. But here's what really lit the fire under me. And I'm going to get very vulnerable for a second. But my mom, I adore my mom. I love her so much. She is one of the most intelligent, most incredible women I know who can run circles around you on if she was on Jeopardy. But she never knew her worth. She never bet on herself. She spent her whole life playing it safe, staying small, letting other people define what she was capable of. And I saw that my whole life. And because of that, I've always taken care of her. And listen, I don't mind that at all. I love being able to provide for my mom. But watching her life, it scared me, honestly, because I realized, and I don't have any children, so I realized if I stay on this path, if I keep letting corporate define my value, if I keep playing it small, playing it safe, I could end up in a situation where I can't take care of myself financially and not really loving my life so much, where I'm dependent on someone else basically to survive. And sis, that terrified me more than quitting my job ever could. I looked at my mom and I saw what happens when you don't bet on yourself, when you don't step into what you're capable of, when you let fear keep you stuck. And I made a decision. I made a decision that wasn't going to be my story. Like I wasn't going to do that. I was not going to get to 65 and 70 years old and have regrets about what I didn't try, about the women I didn't help because I was too scared to step out. So yeah, leaving corporate was about the money because financial security matters, and anyone who tells you it doesn't is lying. But it was also about something deeper. It was about worth, my worth, knowing it, owning it, and finally betting on myself the way I wish my mom had bet on herself. But here's where it gets real messy, y'all. Because even though I knew I needed to leave, even though I felt God pulling me towards something else, I was stuck. I actually did some coaching here and there, but I was so stuck to go all in. You know, I see these women online building coaching businesses, women helping women, creating impact and income on their own terms. And I think, I want to do that. I could do that, actually. I've been training and developing people for over 20 years. But then the questions would flood in, right? How do I even start a coaching business? Like, how do I even do that? What would I even coach people on exactly? Who would hire me? What if I fail and I lose everything I've built? Am I too old for this? I mean, they ignore me in corporate. Is this even what God wants? Or am I just running from corporate? I felt completely paralyzed. I had all this experience, all this expertise, all this fire, but I had no clue what the actual steps were to turn that into a business. And that's when I realized, if I'm feeling this way, if I'm feeling stuck between the calling I feel I have on my life and the clarity to actually get the thing started, there are probably thousands of other women feeling the exact same thing. Women who know they're meant for more, but don't know, how to get there exactly. So I started doing what I do best. I started researching, learning, mapping out what it actually takes to go from corporate to coaching. And honey, I created a whole framework for it. And listen, If you're sitting here thinking, okay, but what would I even coach on? Because that's mainly where I was stuck. What would I even coach on? I know a lot of things, but how do I package that? Like, what's my thing? I actually created a free quiz that it'll help you figure out just that. It's called What Type of Faith-Based Coach Are You Secretly Meant to Be? And I'll drop the link below, but it helps you identify your natural coaching style based on your experience, based on your personality, and what actually lights you up. Because here's the truth. Here's the truth. You already have what you need. You already have it. You just need some clarity on how to package it. You need some clarity on exactly what it is and then how to package it. All right, so listen, back to the story, girl. Back to the story. Get a sip of coffee, your tea, and let's get back into the story. So once I started figuring out the roadmap for myself, something shifted. I realized I don't just want to build a business. I want to build a ministry. I want to build a ministry. You see, I grew up in the church. I was a steward and a licensed minister in the AME Church. That's the African Methodist Episcopal Church for those who aren't AME. Faith has always been central to who I am. But I also saw how the church sometimes creates this false separation between ministry and business, right? They act like business is the devil. Like you're either serving God in church or you're out here chasing money in the world. And sis, that's a lie. That is a lie. Your business can be your ministry, right? Coaching women, helping them step into their purpose, showing them how to build something that provides for their families and also aligns with their faith. That is kingdom work, in my opinion. So I decided I'm going to help women like me, women over 40, women with decades of experience, women who feel overlooked and undervalued, figure out how to turn what they already know into paid coaching. Not by becoming some cringy internet guru, not by doing the hey hun, MLM nonsense, but by building something real, something sustainable, something that honors God and pays the bills, because both of those things can be true at the same time. So here's what I'm doing now. I'm building a business coaching business that helps Christian women go from, I think I'm called a coach, but I have no idea where to start, to I have a clear offer. I know who I help, and I'm landing my first clients. I'm teaching the practical stuff, how to package your skills, how to price your offers, how to find clients without the social media overwhelm, the basics. But I'm also teaching the faith stuff, how to trust God with your transition, how to build a business that's actually ministry, how to handle fear and doubt that comes up when you actually step out in faith. We don't like to talk about it in church. We like to say step out in faith, but there's a lot of fear that comes in stepping out in faith. We're going to talk about that. I teach that. I coach on that. Because listen, you need both. You need both. You need the strategy and you need the spiritual foundation. And I decided that I'm just going to document my whole journey here on YouTube since I'm back and on my podcast, Launch Your Coaching Ministry. because I want you to see the real, the messy, the scary, the beautiful process of building something from scratch in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, whatever age you are. I'm not going to stand here and tell you I've got it all figured out, because I feel like that's what I was doing in my other videos. I was like, girl, they need to hear the whole story. I'm not going to show you fake income screenshots or promise you 6 figures in 6 months. No, no, we're not doing that. What I will show you is what it looks like to do this real, to build slow and sustainable, to trust God and use your brain, to honor your family and build a business. So if you're that woman, the one who, I don't know, who's tired of being overlooked, who knows that she has more to offer, who feels that pull towards something bigger but doesn't know where to start exactly, I want you here. I want you here. You found your people. So subscribe to this channel. Join my email list. I'll have all the details below in the description. I've got a resource called Purpose, Profit, and Peace that it'll help you start connecting the dots between your corporate skills and your coaching calling. I'll also add the link to that below because maybe that will help you also. And if you haven't already, take the faith-based coach quiz. Okay, take the quiz, girl, because listen, clarity is the first step, sis. Clarity is first. You can't build what you can't see clearly. Okay, so definitely take the quiz. So here's what I know for sure in my Oprah voice. You didn't end up on this video by accident. If you made it this far, there is something stirring in you too. And knowing that there's more, knowing that there's more for your life, you're feeling this pull towards a purpose, a higher calling. Don't ignore that. Your age is not a liability. It's your edge. Your experience is not irrelevant. It's your income. And your calling is not just a nice idea. It's the thing that's going to change your life and the lives of the women that you're meant to serve. So let's do this together. Okay, let's do this together. Scared but obedient, faithful but strategic.